You know, even though you ended up getting out of racing around 98 or so, Dad still asked you for advice and so forth about maybe even helping operate the program, the DEI Busch Grand National program, right around the time when I'm starting to get in there and drive the car.
Yes, sir. He sure did. We were in Cotulla, Texas, hunting. As usual.
Yeah.
and everybody else had gone. Me and him was around the campfire out there, and he asked me. He said, "Donnie, I got a plan.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I want you to do." I said, "What's that?" He said, "I want you to come to DEI and take over the Busch program.
Really?
Everything. I'm out." He said, I'm not running no more. You hire the drivers. You run it. You look after it. That's your end. I'm gonna turn it over to you."
Mm-hmm.
He said, "You get the cars built, and you hire and fire the drivers, and I'm with you."
Yeah.
And my words were, "Dale, I'm not gonna do it." And he said, "What?" I said, "I'm not gonna do it." I said, "Me and you have had as good a friendship and close as any two people can do."
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "I know how you are, and you know how I am, and how long you think that would last with me at DEI telling you what we was going to do?" And he said, "In other words, you ain't going to do it." I said, "Nope," because I said, "Me and you want to stay friends." I said, "And race cars or money or nothing else is worth splitting that up."
Yeah.
I said, "We see eye to eye on most things, but I said, when you get into that, I said, it's not going to work." I said, "Number two is you already got a driver." He said, "What do you mean I already got a driver?" I said, "Put Dale Jr. in the car." And he said, "Not now. No, I ain't going to put Dale Jr." I said, "Dale, it's no different than me and you and Ralph and anybody else." I said, "If you're going to find out if the boy can drive, put him in the car." I said, "Matter of fact, if you tell me to go up there and take over, I'm hiring Dale Jr. to be my driver." And that's exactly what I told him. And he said, "Well, I'll think about it."
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, he come home, and I reckon he told you and them up there that you was going to be the driver.
Yeah.
And I was at the sporting goods store then, and he called, I don't know, next day or Monday or something. "Donnie," I said, "Yeah." He said, "Can you come to the shop?" I said, "Yeah, I ain't got anything going on. I can come to the shop." He said, "Tony and Tony Sr., I don't think they liking putting Dale Jr. in the car." He said, "Would you come up here?" I said, "Yeah." So I drove around to the back, walked in the door, and Tony Jr. met me when I walked in the back door. And he said, "You know who he's putting in the car?" I said, "Yeah, Dale Jr., because I told him to." And after that, I went up and saw Dale. We went up to the office, and I never heard any more. Was any more said?
No, I don't reckon. I remember going, so I hadn't heard that story. I remember going into the shop. Somehow or another, I got called over to the Busch shop, which was down by the chicken farms at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why they wanted me to come in there, but I walk in the door, and Tony Jr. and Tony Sr. are standing there, and they just grinning. And I'm standing there like wondering why they're grinning at me and what I'm doing there. And Tony Jr. told me to look at the roof of the car, and I turned around and looked at the roof of the car, and my name was on it. And
Yeah.
I said, "Damn, is this some kind of joke? This ain't funny." Because I didn't know what I was going to be doing. I didn't have much going on with my driving.
Yeah.
And Tony Jr. said, "No, ain't no joke. You the driver." And I was like, "Really?" They were like, "Yep, we're going racing." I was like, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I'd always kind of wondered how all of that went down, because Dad never told me. I saw him, I guess, I don't even remember when I saw him next.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like I went, he called me up in his office or anything and said, hey, I want to do this. I walked into that Busch shop and
your name was on it.
name was on the car.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
I'm like, holy cow. Yeah.
All I know is after we left Texas out there, me and him never said any more about it. And he called me at the office.
Mm-hmm.
Told me, he said, need you to come up here. So I told him Dale Jr. was going to, he said, I went out there and told him Dale Jr. was going to drive the car. He said, can you come up here? I said, yeah, I can come up here.
Mm-hmm.
So I just went up there, and that's what happened.
Yeah, I believe it. Let's talk about Dad's death, his passing. Where were you that day?
Sitting on the television watching it.
Did you get a phone call? Did you get a text message from somebody? Do you remember how you learned the news?
Well, after the wreck, I told Gail, I said, Dale is bad. I said, real bad. I just knew it.
Yeah.
And about 30 minutes, I got a call from Daytona that they said he didn't make it.
Yeah.
And I already had that feeling. I mean, it just come over me. And that was about one sad moment.
Oh, yeah. How did you manage to process that grief? I mean, did you, what is a guy at your age losing his best friend? What did you do to manage the grief and the loss? And, what would you do anything different? Or, everybody handles those type of things differently. I was his son. I was young, had a whole life in front of me. I wasn't in, not many people were in your position. He had a close group of friends but a small circle. How do you manage losing your best friend, that at that part of your life?
Well, it's like if you lose anybody. And I've never, been, as Dale told me, he said, you just don't get emotional about nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And
neither did he.
Huh?
Neither did he. He got mad. If that's that's the only emotion I ever saw out of him.
No,
he was neutral or very angry.
Well, I've seen him on all of it.
Yeah. All right.
but he I just that it's gonna happen to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way to handle it is if you know the Lord Jesus Christ is your personal Savior. I mean, that's the only thing. And through him, I can handle it. I just handled the death of my wife.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the worst thing that can happen to anyone that's got a spouse that we'd been together from dating till marriage 54 years. And we didn't do anything without each other,
Sure.
But, and with Dale, I think about him every day. I mean, I can be doing something and think, you better not be doing this. Don't do this.
Don't do it that way.
Don't do it that way.
Yeah.
Because I asked him one time, I said, are you out there driving? I said, because I do. I said, you out there driving, and no matter where you at, do you ever ask yourself, Dale, don't do this again? He said, more than once. Why did you do that?
Yeah.
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 But I just handled it as I pray that I get to see him again.
Yeah, that's what I do.
You know.
Yeah.
Oh, and it'll be totally different, but you know.
It'll be better, I hope.
It's eye has not seen and ear has not heard the things I've got for you. This down here is just something little the Lord put together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what I believe myself. You know, when Dad was gone, it was a gut punch, you know, and you didn't know what to do next or how you could go. You didn't know how you could do anything next.
Exactly.
And the only way you could pull yourself together and be able to move forward and carry on in this life is to believe that you would see them again, you know,
right.
And that's what's in store. And I think that really helped me.
Yeah. I feel like he and you both are on the same page as when he lost Ralph.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was, I mean, it didn't happen the same, but it's dead.
Yeah. I wonder, I've often wondered, Donnie, that, you know, when I lost Dad, I had a life in front of me that was, I had a comfortable existence. I had a job and an amazing race team around me, and I had everything, right?
Right.
When he lost his dad, he had nothing. He was working a job at Great Dane or whatever, right? I mean, he had nothing. Barely enough food in the fridge to eat. No racing job. And he was not making all the right decisions, you know. He had a lot of turmoil, rowdiness, anger, frustration.
Yeah.
I think it's so incredible that he made it out of sheer determination. But you know, I made it because I had so much supporting me in that moment. I had a lot of support around me. He made it and there were, you know, 74, 75, 76, 77. He's just making it up, trying his hardest every day.
That's right.
I don't know how in the hell he did it.
Yeah, well.
How it could have failed even without his fault, right?
Well, sure.
There were so many things that could have maybe not gone the right way.
Yeah.
Opportunities that he might not have been given. But golly, it's insane what he accomplished.
You're right.
Put in that position, losing his dad, his direction, and his guidance, and being just left like a vessel out in the open sea to figure out his way home.